Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. We got a video that I'm very excited for today. Video by T. Reese titled The Winners and Losers of the 2022 NBA Draft Combine. And the reason I'm so excited about this is because my mind automatically simulates through date when it comes to the Draft Combine. I never look at the results. I don't even think about it. So this is going to be really cool seeing what it's all about here. And I guess the reason I don't is just, for one, I mean, it's a lot of just different measurements that I just don't really always understand what's good or bad when it comes to this. But also at the same time too, I don't know, man. I remember Kevin Durant couldn't bench press the bar or something like that, and that was a reason people think that he fell to second in the draft or whatnot. So athleticism's important, but I think skill set's where it's at, man. Let's get in and see what this is all about.
The 2022 NBA Draft Combine measurements all being out there, it's time to investigate the winners and losers. That is,
let's do it.
Into which prospects stood out and which others had their NBA draft stocks fall maybe a bit due to their listings. Now, we also have the measurements coming from the NBA G League Elite Camp, and that is important because there are a few fan favorites over there.
What we get at number 5?
Jung Lee, who, as we'll get into, put up pretty good numbers. And then we also had Sharif O'Neal, who got an invite as well, despite having a pretty disappointing career in college. And some of his measurements.
I really do hope that Sharif does figure things out. I know that he did have a lot of health issues and stuff like that, but I don't know. I think Sharif would be really good for the NBA. He just would. I don't know. Just would be.
Definitely stood out. Louisiana Tech big man and gold medalist Kenneth Lofton Jr. made an appearance also. Now, I think it is.
He's working on his NBA body. Ain't gonna lie. Good for him.
That a lot of top prospects didn't participate, which has kind of become a trend as of recent. The big three in Chet Holmgren, Paolo Banchero, and Jabari Smith all did not go, including several other big-name guys. But clearly,
because at that point, it's what is the point? It's when you already know you're going to be a top 3 pick. Okay, maybe you can do a few things, but it's we all know like Jabari is athletic as hell. We all know that. So I mean, I get that. I get why you wouldn't go, because it's at that point the only thing you can do is probably hurt your draft stock. So
there's still a lot to get into in terms of who won and who lost. So
Jaden Ivey, future Detroit Piston, maybe.
Firstly, let's talk about a huge winner in Dyson Daniels.
Oh, there we go.
A G League Ignite
6'6"
wing
point
who has
guard.
been flying up draft boards all year. And he's gotten to the point where some are considering him a top 10 pick worthy recruit.
I want him to the Knicks.
Daniels projects as a point forward, an athletic raw prospect that knows how to get others involved. And his speed at the combine will definitely be something for scouts to be impressed with.
That might be a superstar in the making.
He finished first in the shuttle run at about 2.8 seconds,
okay.
which gives him great upside as a defender. He was also 9th in the lane agility test. Again, same thing here. That's an indication of great potential.
Plus the height too with that.
While his 3/4 court sprint was just a bit above average as he came in 19th out of 50 tested, his acceleration in the half court and ability to shift on the perimeter as a defender will compensate quite well. Plus, he clocked in at a very solid 6'6" without sneakers on, with a near.
No, you can definitely see with him where it's he's got that Luka Doncic, I would say, Cade Cunningham type of just gonna pick you apart. Not gonna kill you with the athleticism, but that's not gonna stop him from getting work done. So
11 wingspan. So the measurables are all basically checked. Another huge winner
number
here,
5.
and I'm sure most people out there have already seen this, but Mark Williams, a sophomore big man out of Duke and projected lottery pick that averaged over 17 points and 4 blocks per game this past season, had some of the most monstrous measurements out of the entire combine.
He's a beast.
He came in as a close second in height without shoes. Barefoot, he measured at 7 feet tall. And his wingspan at 7'6.5" was the best of the entire draft. He also weighed in at 242 pounds with a body fat percentage of just 5%.
Wow.
Meaning, in all, he's got everything a team wants from a big man in terms of size, and his physique.
He definitely more traditional big man. I don't think he can shoot. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, kind of more traditional, which is okay. Can still, and having that crazy athleticism is going to help you more mobile on help defense and stuff like that. Because I think that's why guys like Jahlil Okafor don't really pan out. Is because Jalil's good around the basket, but he ain't got the athleticism to match it. So yeah, this guy can be that bundle of energy. He could be maybe a Robert Williams type of player, which would be absolutely fantastic.
Is right where it needs to be. Next up, we got our first loser, and that's going to be Patrick Baldwin Jr.
Man's fallen down a lot.
Now, as many of you might know, Baldwin came into this college season as a top 10 high school recruit unanimously. His ability to put the ball in the basket at his size has always been a pleasure to watch and will surely translate very fine to the next level. He chose to play under his father at Milwaukee instead of his other powerhouse offers, being the highest ranked recruit ever to join a Horizon League program out of high school. He shot fairly poorly from the floor throughout his season, and his 3-ball wasn't going in at a great rate either. Despite the struggles, NBA scouts are still sold on his talent and what he could potentially bring to a team, which is why he might still be a lottery selection. Now, he did clock in at 6'9" barefoot with an over 7'2" wingspan, so in that way he's actually a winner, because those listings are better than what we knew of him before. However, his agility tests raised some concerns for scouts. Get this, out of all players measured, Baldwin had the lowest maximum vertical at about 26.5 inches, and his 23.5-inch standing vert wasn't much greater.
Dude can shoot.
Now, first seeing this, it looks really bad. But sometimes I'm at least willing to give the benefit of the doubt to players who test poorly with their jumping. Maybe it wasn't their day. Maybe they
legs feel a little extra heavy,
or maybe they don't really know how to jump with proper technique with the vertical measurement test. Maybe they're just in-game.
Yeah, literally just gonna say that in-game, exactly.
Leapers.
Exactly. Like literally took the words out of my bitch ass mouth.
He had the second worst lane agility time, the 6th worst shuttle run, and the 4th worst 3/4 court sprint. We don't know yet how much these listings will.
So he's Kyle Anderson with a jump shot.
I don't think it should that much. I think he'll be a bucket either way.
Right.
But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Great
now,
form.
Let's talk a bit about Nikola Jokic, an absolute winner in this year's combine.
Okay.
For those of you unfamiliar, Jokic is basically a massive guard out of Serbia, projected to go in this year's first round. He has tons of potential as
not to be mistaken with Nikola Jokic. Jokic.
Playmaker, passer, and at his size and athleticism, he's going to make an impact. While he didn't take part in the agility tests, his measurables were taken, and they confirmed that his tools are just as fantastic as scouts could have hoped. Without shoes on, Jokic had the 7th tallest height measurement at 6'9.5 inches. Watching Jokic play, it definitely doesn't feel like he's as tall as that listing. To put it into perspective, he's nearly an inch taller than Bam Adebayo.
Wow.
The same height as Karl Anthony Towns. Half an inch taller than Robert Williams, and the same exact height as Kevin Durant. Clearly, Jokic's skill set and play style don't match his height, which is a great thing. And as I said, he doesn't look nearly as tall as he's listed because he's a perimeter player that's creating for himself and others on offense, and he's still quite lean with his frame. Plus, he's much more coordinated and quick than most guys of his size. And once he's filled up and gotten some run in the NBA, his size and physical tools would be a huge plus to his already intriguing skill set. Not to mention his wingspan also clocked in at over 7 feet. Now, Kenneth Lofton Jr. might be considered a loser depending on who you ask. The big man out of Louisiana Tech has drawn interest from fans given his unicorn-like body as a basketball player, though most would argue it has him stand out in a pretty bad way. While recording the highest weight of all players measured at the GDW camp, and second if you include those in the combine, his body fat.
And can we look at this from the standpoint where it's like, no disrespect to Lofton right here, but, you know, his body is not the greatest when it comes to, like, the game of basketball, but obviously you can still put work in and everything like that. Like, you know, big boys have been playing the NBA before. But, you know, I think it's, like, it's good to, like, relate that to, like, Zion, because, like, people tend to make a lot of, like, you know, jokes about Zion's weight and stuff like that, and, like, Zion don't look like that. I mean, Zion's not always perked with his body either, but, yeah, dude got, like, pure muscle, man.
That percentage of over 15% was also the highest. Without sneakers on, Lofton measured in at 6'5.5 inches. His wingspan was recorded at 6'11".
I hope it works out though.
Lofton's height puts him quite a bit lower than most bigs, but I can't say I'm that surprised. This has been documented for quite some time, but 6'5.5" might be a bit lower than I was at least hoping, especially for a player whose offense relies so heavily on his ability to score in the post.
Yeah.
He had the elite camp's third.
Yeah, he ain't doing them little spin moves, you know, uppity ups against like defensive bigs. I'm sorry, like this dude, you know, he not saying he can't finish it like that, but hopefully he can like shoot and stuff like that.
3/4 court sprint. while his maximum vertical of 31 inches wasn't crazy high either. Now, his standing vertical of 29 inches was actually above average, meaning if he slimmed down, Lofton might be a really good fluid athlete, but otherwise, I guess he did kind of confirm what we suspected at the elite camp with most measurements, but he did perform well enough in the scrimmages to be one of 7 players invited to the NBA Draft Combine, so good for him. Davidson sharpshooter Hyung Jung Lee, as we mentioned, was also at the elite camp. Earlier this season, he was projected to go in the late first round in the 2022 draft, but right now, it'd be rare to find him anywhere in a mock draft, which is a shame. His shooting ability on his size is absolutely needed in today's game.
Nice handles.
And he has just confirmed that he has more than solid NBA level size. He's now listed at 6'7" without shoes on, and his wingspan of nearly 6'10" is intriguing as well. While those measurements were quite great, his 27-inch maximum vertical probably left some unimpressed. So as far as his height and size goes, he's definitely there. And his vertical and athleticism isn't great for sure, but I don't think anybody was anticipating him to be a great athlete, given that his style of play doesn't require much of it. I think a shooter of his caliber is more than worthy of a draft selection, and I'm coming out of the combine with a better impression than what I had of him before, despite his confirmed lack of good athleticism. Now, Sharif O'Neal also made an appearance at the G League Elite Camp after having a pretty disappointing collegiate career due to several reasons, many of which was out of his control. The main one, of course, being his issue with his heart that he had before his college debut at UCLA. But after averaging 3 points per game as a junior at LSU, Sharif got invited to the G League Elite Camp, and he measured in at 6'9" barefoot with a 7'1" wingspan. Measurements that most could have.
He ain't built like his father.
His 34.5-inch max vert was also quite standard, but his athletic measurements otherwise weren't fantastic. Compared to the other 45 at the G League Elite Camp, Reef was in the bottom 5 in all 3 agility tests. He had the worst lane shuttle left time of all prospects, so he may have come out of the combine as a loser in some sense, but I'm
seeing with like his body and stuff like that, maybe his skill set, he could be like, you know, like best case, maybe play like a Cam Johnson type. I'm kind of seeing that with him, maybe.
Glad he got the opportunity to play at the camp.
A little bit more work around the basket, perhaps.
Really well in the scrimmages, but at 22 years old, we don't really know if he's still seen as a prospect with a lot of upside.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, this year at the combine, we didn't get a ton of massive losers or winners like we did in years past. A lot of that probably relates to more and more top prospects not participating. I mean, Jaden Hardy, a projected top 5 pick headed into the season, is now the 3rd highest projected G League Ignite player according to most mock drafts, and even he didn't participate. I guess any potential bad measurement is enough to worry prospects about going.
Exactly.
But I'm hoping you still learned a bit about some prospects. Let me know if I'm...
No, that was really cool. Like, this video was perfect. Like, perfect breakdown, what I need to hear and stuff like that. So yeah, great video, guys. Go check out the man's channel, T-Reese, link to the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out, my friends.